Assemble! Hey everybody, what's going on? I know what you're thinking. Mark sounds a little weird today. That's because I'm not Mark, this is Neil, and today I am your host of the Rivals Assemble podcast, a Marvel Rivals podcast. And you're here today for episode 26. And Mark is not here joining us today, but you have me, and I've got a couple hosts here. And first up, Matt, what's going on?
It's so weird. It's, when the teacher's away, the kids go and play. Stoked to talk about all the new developments this week. We got new updates, new costumes, and some great Magic lore. So let's get to it.
Magic dump coming up. All right, we're excited. Oh yeah, and also we have Ken's here. Ken's, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? It's just us. Matt made the teacher joke. I was going to say that it's kind of like whenever your parents leave you alone for the first time and you're like, oh, I have so much freedom. I could do whatever I want. Who knows what's going to happen on this show? It could be total chaos.
Mark gets touchy whenever we make jokes about him being the dad.
Yeah, so Dad's away. Dad's gone.
You're like, he's the one who brought it up. I didn't bring it up.
I also bring up jokes that Mark always reels us back in when I get off tangent, and it's usually me that takes them. Yeah. So we'll see how on track I can keep.
Yeah, when you're in control, we're going to go for 3 hours this time.
We're timing the podcast starting now.
This is the alternate Chronoverse where Mark is not the host here, and we'll see how long this lasts. So this is Rivals Assemble, Marvel Rivals podcast, and we got lots of stuff to talk about today. Very excited. If you want to get more of us, there is one symbol website that we have, rivalsassemble.com, and you can go to that website and get all the links to our X, Twitch, YouTube, Spotify. We got an email in there, pod@rivalsassemble.com, and you get a link to join the Discord. We have our Discord. It's hopping, always busy, always a great time. Lots of discussion going on in there.
We're just like a dozen or so away from passing 300.
Yeah, it's hundreds of people.
I've been loving seeing I've been wanting to jump in there, but I've had other priorities. Just the chats and the groups, like people grouping up, and it's like it seems like every night I'll look over and there's 6 or 7 people in a chat. I'm like, man,
I'm
missing out over here. Like they're having a good time. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's popping off in there. It's great. A lot of games going on. We've got our groups together. There was just the PlayStation tournament this last weekend. I think we had a group go into that.
A couple people, no? I think.
I don't think that went so hot. I think I don't think the whole tournament went so hot because apparently not a lot of teams showed up, and so the system was automatically advancing. Because if neither team showed up, it was like, okay, well you're going to progress. But I believe that the faction on our Discord, not all the members showed up, and the ones who were there, they saw that the other team they were up against got just randomly selected. So
that's too bad.
We'll get them next time, Chance.
We'll get them next time.
There needs to be something happening with that. That's not okay.
Get your backups.
Slaps on the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also in the Discord, we have our NHL playoff bracket challenge going on. And I had to delay the start of this podcast recording because the Leafs were in their game and a couple minutes left. And I'm happy to announce that they made it to the second round another time in recent history. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to help my bracket for sure.
Is this the year, or does disappointment continue to ensue? How are you feeling? Live reporting, instant reaction from the new second round Leafs.
You know what? Me and my friends, we talk about it quite a bit, and we always say like, this time it's different. This time it's different. And actually, there's like the rules of Leafs fans. Whenever they're going to Game 7, you're going to think they're going to win, and then they're going to lose. Whenever they're up 4-1, you're going to think they're going to win. They're going to give up 4 goals. It's just the laws of being a Leafs fan. So
we'll see. It's a curse.
So as a writer, like I know you brought this up earlier, that I know it's the Leafs. because it's the team, but like it grinds my gears that it is not the Leaves.
My brain says Leaves. I actually think I said it earlier.
Which is like
the Leafs.
The Leaves.
Their pants on.
Does it on my
both
on my
legs
Twitter here? Leafs. Yes. So it's incorrect, and that's we'll maybe bring that up in the next election. See if they want to change that or not.
Let's see if we'll fix that.
We'll hold that for now. So yeah, that challenge is on. We did get a few teams progress to the second round, and we actually have some points going on here. So it's not updated with this game tonight yet, but happy to announce I am at the bottom of the list. I have the least amount of points. Hopefully we'll see tomorrow if I
Moose Cup is not in your favor.
Moose Cup is not in my favor. We don't have to worry about the conflict of interest. I will not,
unless he's an evil genius and he's engineered this to have an amazing comeback at the end.
True. I could be the dark horse. We'll see. You know what? I'll happily take that on if it comes. But the person in first right now, Exhausted Reader, is the top of our list. So let's see if they hold the spot. Or maybe they get a bit too tired and then they fall down to the bottom with me. But
don't start picking out your skin of choice yet. It's not time.
No context. That's really weird comment.
Don't count the skins before they hatch.
Yeah,
I don't like that one either. If you haven't been listening, one of the prizes for winning this competition is a free costume of your choice.
Them to pick out their skin
from Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, and
so there's that.
We're still trying to figure it out, but I do have the lovely Moose Cup behind me, and that's somehow gonna digitally make its way to you as well as the champion. Pretty excited.
We might just end up mailing you a thumb drive. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Just put it in. It's fine. Just put it in your computer. Nothing bad will happen at all. And okay, also I want to mention the Patreon here. So that's going pretty strong. We're doing a bunch of bonus content for that. And if you want to sign up to that, it's patreon.com/rivalsassemble. With that, it's you pay $5, you become a true believer. And some benefits of being a true believer: you get exclusive Discord role on our Discord, as mentioned. We have bonus episodes, the MCU recap. That is every 2 weeks on the Mondays. We have solo host shows every Wednesday. This week we released Iron Man 2 on Monday, and then Mark did his solo episode on Wednesday. And Mark, I believe, got into the NES. So he's going retro gaming, and I think he had an idea to do more than just that, but the episode happened, and he only got through the NES. So
Mark talked for a long time. What?
I think the plan was for him to just give a history of specifically Nintendo for him, and he only gave history of the NES.
Yeah. So a lot more to come with that. The next week's, I'm going to do my second solo episode. I think I'm going to talk board games. Next week. I've been into board games for a little while now, so I'm going to give you an episode on that. And then we will also drop, I think we've got another Retro Game Club episode ready to go for the Minish Cap. So that
Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap.
Yes, Legend of Zelda, which was for the Game Boy Advance, I believe.
So Minish.
And that'll be the last one for a bit, so get it while it's hot.
We may bring it back, but and if you want us to bring us back, you can let us know either by email, pod@rivalsassemble.com, or leave us a comment on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to this podcast, and also on the Discord, let us know. So those will be coming out. So we got the recap, we've got the solo episodes, and the Retro Game Club. So you get all of that. $5 a month, become a true believer. Another PSA.
It's not a cult, we swear.
It is not. Just drink the Kool-Aid. It's fine. And it is, don't sign up through the iOS app. Do it through your web browser, and then you can download the iOS app and have access to it with just your login. All right. So we also want to announce, I think we announced it last week, but we are going to GCX. So I was pretty excited. I got my press pass yesterday. I booked my flight. So I'm actually going to get to meet up with Mark and Matt, and we'll see if Ken's can pull some magic tricks there. But really,
just a cardboard cutout of me. That should probably be fine.
Well, a flat Ken's.
A flat Kens.
Your daughter needs to draw a flat Kens and
Yes.
cut it out of
turn
like
you into
butcher
an
paper,
NFT.
and we'll take it.
Yeah, an
everywhere.
NFT, a flash drive. I'll be on the
my
flash
gosh.
drive.
Yeah.
So we'll have like a digital photo frame that no one will ask questions about at all.
No, he's fine. And yeah, he's got a pass. Don't worry about it. So yeah, very excited for that. That is in Orlando at the near end of July.
I believe it's the 25th and 26th of
There
July.
you go. Yeah, 2 days, the Friday, Saturday, full day convention. So we'll be hanging out there. Hopefully meet up with some listeners. If you're around, let us know. I'm really looking forward to that. Also, this weekend is Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. That always kind of surprises me. So I need to make sure that, it's Saturday, correct?
Yep. It's always it's the first Saturday of May every year. So
gotta just put a reoccurring thing in my calendar then. Maybe.
Yeah, you can literally do that. You can go to freecomicbookday.com no matter where in the world you are. I know it's a more popular event here in the States, but also in Canada and Europe and beyond. You can put in your postal code and it will tell you if there's a comic shop or any type of shop near you that is participating in the event. Have either of you guys done Free Comic Book Day before?
Yeah, I used to go before my comic book shop went downhill. I used to go every year, and it's awesome.
Oh, are they just like into like weird stuff now, or?
That's an off the air conversation. But it's I don't go there anymore. But it was a good time.
Now I have to. Okay.
It was a good time. There would always be tons of people there, and everyone would bring their kids, and it would just be lines out the door. So go to Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, same with me. I've got 4 or 5 stores in my city, and they actually all kind of group together, and they give you like a checklist, or you get a punch card if you go visit all of the spots. Hand that in, and it's like, oh, okay, you've got your passport filled, and then you put your name into a draw for something.
That's so smart.
Hopefully I can make it out. And usually different stores carry the different free comic books.
Yeah, so
you get like 2 or 3.
Yeah, you can go to the website and see everything that's going to be offered. Depending on this, like stores in my area in the past, they don't order everything because they know they're just going to be sitting on My Little Pony, random Free Comic Book Day issue because
Those
it's
are great
not
comics, by the way.
no shade on My Little Pony. I myself am not a brony, so sorry. But you're not going to be getting the latest issue of X-Men or the latest Spider-Man, but they are special issues written specifically for New Comic Book Day or Free Comic Book Day. Thank you. Which are usually by some of the same artists, usually some of the same writers and letterers and colorists and all that fun stuff. But there's a little bit of decorum to know. It is not every free comic, not every comic in the shop is free. They're specific comics, so ask your shopkeep about that. Don't go in with your kid and pick up every comic in the store and be like, no, but it said free.
Yeah, usually they have them out, separate piles, and it says Free Comic Book Day printed right on the issue, so you can tell, and it's usually like a smaller issue. Matt, they have annual comics. Is that similar to this, or that is like, because sometimes I read a comic and it's like Spider-Man annual 20.
So an annual happens when there are usually 5 weeks in a month.
Okay.
And so since books are on like usually a monthly, most of the time a monthly release schedule, but then you have like your Amazing Spider-Man, which is bi-weekly. Whenever there is a 5th week, they'll pick a book to be the annual. And that feels like the 5th week of publishing for that month. So they don't have to get off track with
first or second or third or fourth.
Yeah. They can just say, we know that Spider-Man is going to, or I don't even know now, like the Marauders, an X-Men title, is going to come out on the 3rd week of every month, the 3rd Wednesday of every month. And so they don't have to shift that schedule because of the calendar. I would say if you're taking your children to Free Comic Book Day, take a look at what they are picking out before you take it home, because the book selection ranges from kid friendly to mature.
Yep.
I'm not sure this year there are any that are super, that you should be alarmed about, but some are very violent, some are a little gory. And I'm not telling you how to parent or raise your kids, but if you have your 3-year-old, like scream in their room and you go in and you see a comic book on the floor and somebody's head is laying in a puddle of blood, that's on you, fam. So.
Yeah, they usually separate those in the store too when I go there. I believe one of the ones I got one year was a Bloodborne comic, and that got pretty gruesome. Yeah. But then we also got the My Little Pony one, so they are usually pretty good at separating them. And part of it being a Free Comic Book Day, it's kind of like free advertising for them too. So they'll throw in a bunch of pages of like, if you want to continue reading, here's a bunch of options for you to go with. So yeah, check that out. Free Comic Book Day. That's this Saturday. So this coming out on Friday. So it's tomorrow. So figure it out.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Get it out there. Have some fun. Get some comics. And let us know which ones you like. We got a comic group on the Discord, so maybe we'll be talking about some of those comics once you guys pick them up. And next, we've got our poll. So our poll from last week, and this is the poll that is to our Spotify. So on the Spotify app, you can scroll down and vote for the poll. And last week's was, which hero has the best punk rock costume?
Wait, can you read it in a punk rock voice?
Oh yeah, please do your best.
This is so up to interpretation.
Punk
rock, I think we need to each do it.
Metal versus.
We'll each rock. Do it. We'll each do our own punk rock voice. Like there's no wrong. Well, I mean there is wrong, but
do we have? Were you singing or what? Which hero has the best punk rock costume? Is it Spider-Man, Squirrel Girl, Hulk/Banner, Magik, or Storm?
Oh, okay.
Winner?
All right.
All right. Go ahead, Matt.
This is
nope. I think you did it.
No, you did them all. I mean, we needed a "Where are you?"
That's what exactly. Which hero has the best punk rock costume?
I'm so sorry.
Tom DeLonge is now on the podcast.
Friend of the show.
Punk rock costumes. We had the Spider-Man. He's got the nice mohawk going. We got Squirrel Girl. She was part of the recent
Nut Rocker.
The Nut Rocker, if you will, a Hulk/Banner. That's one that I picked up last season. Love it. Magik, which is the one that Matt picked up last season. Storm, I think, was the one you can get with the token.
It's been out for a bit. It might have been out at launch, actually.
Yeah, she was available at launch.
But you could get it with the token, which I did.
Nice. So the winner here, barely. It's Spider-Man with 35% of the vote.
Oh, surprise.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, maybe it was all the hype that we generated from our Spider-Man challenge episode. Everyone went out there and bought the Spider-Man skin.
It is a good one.
It's sick. I'm not gonna lie. That the womp womp was my own personal opinion. So,
full disclosure. Spider-Man.
Yeah, Magik was so close.
Yeah, Magik in second with 31% of the vote. And this is a great costume. I love the MVP and
Dark Child.
Yeah, Dark Child. I mean, I feel like that could be more of a metal costume.
Oh, for sure.
That's great. Then we've got Hulk/Banner 17%, Squirrel Girl with 8%, and Storm at the bottom with 6%. I think it might be the new shiny, right? Won it while Storm has been there a while, so no one's as excited about her.
Storm's up there for me. So good.
Maybe the Magik one would have won if she had like Haley Williams' orange hair.
Oh man, are you kidding me? Don't.
And instead of like the punk rock song, it was like that song from Twilight in the
E-code.
How did we get here? Give it a little more pop punk.
Haley Williams is like my first celebrity crush. You're taking me back.
That crush hasn't gone away for some of us.
Crush. Actually, that was a song.
They taped over, and we'll save that for our podcast Paramore symbol. Sorry.
Yeah, sounds good. And for next week, this is just hot, fresh fresh off the press. We have the best
On the fly here.
team comp. Okay, so this is the best team comp. Number of Vanguard, number of duelists, number of strategists. So what is the best? Is it 2-2-2? That's might be the most common, but we'll see. 1-3-2, 2-1-3, 4-0-2, or 0-4-2.
402 is crazy.
I've seen that quite a bit, actually.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
well,
especially
we'll see.
if you've got like a warlock and some of those that are doing more damage. Mantis now with the buff, like it's maybe possible.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll get into Spotify. Do your vote, and we'll talk in detail. We'll see who comes up. But we forgot the 060. That is also a team.
That seems to be happening.
It seems the quite
Yeah.
popular one.
Or my personal favorite, 006.
Also, yeah, you know what? We did rock the strategy.
We might have to talk about these numbers and just you check and see what what the options are, because I was gonna say 204 is actually a really good comp that I've seen run, and
Yeah,
Neil and
that's
I
fair.
lost to that. I believe it was
Yeah,
a week or two ago.
it was Groot and
Yeah, wiped.
something. Yeah, it was tough.
We'll see.
Anyway.
It'll be some form of this. We'll
Yeah.
announce the official numbers later.
You'll have to look and see.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that next week. We'll see who comes out on top. Next, we have our segment, Our Week in Game. So this time we'll take this opportunity to talk about the challenge of this week, which was Mantis. We had to play 10 games as Mantis, ideally in a row, so we can really dive into the character and understand what is Mantis. So, Kenz, why don't you start us off here?
I started off with Mantis and had a terrible time. Like game 1 was awful. I did win, but I was like, I had the thought, I was like, I'm not doing this challenge. I was like, I'm playing this one game.
You
I'm not
subbed
doing
in
the
on
rest
that
of this.
too.
I had such a bad time. I was
Wow.
like, I'm not going to submit myself to this much pain. But I was like, I'll give it one more. And then I had a great time. Like the highs and lows were, it was crazy.
Ain't that life?
It was it was high highs and low lows, but I did not. I'm going to say I technically did not lose a game out of the 10 games, but
Wow.
because if we're going to be literal, I lost 4. But
That's not what your screenshot says.
I won 6 games, and then I got thrown in into the middle at the end of a game, and I was in it like just long enough to where like I couldn't, like, it wouldn't count or whatever.
Yeah.
The next game got thrown in, was literally in the game for like a minute and a half, and the game ended. And so it gave me a substitute for that, which I actually hadn't seen before.
Never seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we have your screenshot here of your games, and it says
And you get
instead of
when
defeat.
you're backfilling, you get that, like, a little prompt about it on the screen now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which I
Yeah,
didn't know.
it'll tell you. And then I went into another game, and I got thrown into another match in progress.
Wow.
That and you can see the times on
Jeez.
there.
Yeah.
It's how short the matches were. And then I did all right. Last one, and I got thrown into the very end of a game again, and it was another substitute. And so I was like, all right, I'm not meant to.
Yeah.
This isn't meant to happen. I don't know what's happening. But back to Mantis. So that was just a bit of a tangent on like getting. That happened to me more this week than it ever has, and I don't know what's going on with that. But even so much that I got substitute almost twice in a row. Anyway, but Mantis, I think so. Recently, I made the switch to mouse and keyboard, and so my aim has been. So I did like the cap challenge with mouse and keyboard, and honestly, that was great. I've been playing a ton of Emma Frost with mouse and keyboard. That's been awesome. But this was my first character to really play that was more hit scan and required aim.
Right.
So so that's why I had a bad time at first, but I got the hang of it and just really started like nailing shots. I thought that her ultimate is great. That her stun ability is super helpful whenever you're getting dove, which happens all the time. And now I played a game before the show and we'll talk about it later, but she got a buff. She got a pretty huge buff actually of her damage from her main attack went from 50 to 55, and you could feel it. It's like I was popping heads with Mantis, and so she's great. I had a great time. I'm glad we did this, because I went from never wanting to play the character ever again to now feeling confident to be able to jump in on Mantis.
Yeah, you had a 23 kill game there. Like, that's dope.
Yeah, that's serious. And that's what I like about these challenges too, because while I was playing my games, I definitely had the game where I'm like, I just need to switch characters. I know I can do better with somebody else, but I stuck with it and ended up finishing the challenge. One thing about this, I think her primary fire is not a hit scan. It is like a delayed
It's projectile.
Yeah.
What I mean by hit scan is like having to aim, have aim. That's
Like
not technically the right term.
dagger or yeah.
Yeah.
I found that I was not hitting anything, but
Send your comments to pod@rivalsassemble.com.
Yeah,
get in the comments.
So what about the healing factor and the damage buffs? How are you balancing that while you were playing? Were you doing a lot of healing, a lot of damage buffs, or?
I feel like I did a pretty good there towards the end, once I got the hang of aiming more with her and feeling more confident and actually doing damage. I was damage boosting myself a bit more, and actually kind of been able to take him down. But in the beginning, I was much more focused on healing and really not doing much damage at all. And towards the end, I kind of felt more comfortable with like being able to divvy it out of like just survey the land, and kind of what's needed is that I see it. My Thor is diving in, so I'm gonna throw the healing there, and when I get another one back, I'm gonna throw a damage on him. So he'll be off alone, but he'll be able to kind of hold his own a bit more. So just kind of really trying to read the situations for what's needed.
Very cool. Good. Something that I noticed, and I don't know if it was a recent change or something, but if you stack it on the character, it actually just increases the duration. So
yeah, it doesn't increase the healing.
Of the game, I would pick a character and I would go damage, because while we're walking, I will be refreshing my leaves, but then they will also still have damage going by the time we hit the battlefield. So yeah, that's something that was pretty cool. And I was never confident enough to really damage boost myself unless there was nobody else around me and I was getting dove. But
it doesn't. So the healing, it doesn't actually increase the healing to do it more on them, does it? Or is it?
It might do the more damage over time or healing over time, but there is that initial burst when you do use it.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's the burst and then there's the 100 over the next 4 seconds.
Because I noticed myself, the MMO term is overhealing, where I would I would try to top someone off, but like with Mantis, you have very limited amount of resources to heal, just like in a lot of healers and MMOs. And so it's like it's important to use those wisely. And so I would find myself overhealing someone, like maybe topping them off, and those resources getting wasted. Instead of maybe waiting a minute in order for their health to get a bit lower, so that it could get the full effect.
Right. Yeah, usually if they're most of the way full, then I just start applying the damage boost. Because because it feels good when you do that and then they're hitting enemies, and then it feels like you're actually hitting enemies too, right? Because you get the little ding effect that you've assisted them in that. Yeah. So also we did get this this fresh off the press as well. Mark put his Mantis games in here too. I think he just wanted to show off a little bit. So
he lost every match.
Fake news. He got he went 8-2. He got 2 SVPs. So the 2 he wanted to make sure the 2 losses
first loser,
was he was top of the team. So he was doing his job. Let's have a little look here.
He's doing his part.
Yeah. So it's looked pretty good. All quick matches. He did have quite a few eliminations and assists in one of those losses there, up in the high 20s. Yeah, we can only imagine how he's playing Mantis and what his healing numbers were versus his damage. But
like Mark, we only needed 10 matches. You didn't need to send us, 13 pages of matches that you played.
His whole
Kidding,
resume. Yeah. So awesome, Mark. So Matt, how did your games go?
It's the craziest thing. I was in the middle of doing the Mantis challenge, and after playing 5 matches, this huge bird flew into my house and like took my PS5 and carried it away. Like it must have been a hawk.
And
like,
it just brought it back tonight, right?
Yeah, like
it's
luckily, luckily I'll be able to play matches after this. But no, I may have rage quit.
Whoa!
Halfway through
So
the challenge.
almost my first match. Yeah, I feel you.
After 5 matches, all of which I lost. Our team lost. It was not me that lost. But it did get to the point where I turned off team chat because I was getting.
This is text or voice?
Text. Oh, I keep voice off. I only keep voice chat on, or I only go into voice chat with people that I know. See what you want. But well, if I'm not doing well, I get quiet anyway. You guys know this. I'll be like, Matt, you still there?
Matt's really upset. He's not saying anything.
Or I've accidentally muted myself, and
That's
I've been muted
also
for the
very
past.
possible because it's like, oh man, we're doing well. Why is Matt so mad? And no, he muted himself by accident.
And I've been like making great calls for the past 10 minutes that nobody has heard. But so I never got the concept, and I'm determined to get Mantis down because I liked. It felt a little Moira-y, how there was the way to kind of focus on damage or focus on healing. I never found the balance. I'll be honest with you. So I felt like in matches I would either have to go full healing, or I would get flamed by my team for being like, we don't need you to boost our damage. Like, we're doing fine. We need you to heal. And so I'd focus on healing, but then it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, can you boost us? And it was like, what do you want from me?
If you're not going to heal, might as well boost us.
I'm just a little girl Mantis. What do you want? Sleep. So I ended up rage quitting. And my rage quitting is, just quietly taking the headset off and turning my PS5 off and, like going to stand in the shower and fully clothed.
With the water on.
With the water on.
It's good you didn't take the PS5 with you.
No.
Yeah, well, that's gone, right? That was the
bird. Well, yeah, I'm so lucky the bird brought it back.
Yeah.
Impeccable sense of direction.
You quit the challenge. You didn't quit the game mid-game.
No. I'm still playing the game. I had, outside of the Mantis challenge, I did a lot of Adam Warlock this week. I'm interested to see how the kind of the buff. We'll talk about that. That was also, he's also when I'm trying to find the balance of healing and doing damage, because it's so easy, I feel, when I'm playing Adam Warlock to just want to like headshot people and be like, oh crap, I'm supposed to be healing, snap.
I feel with Adam Warlock, you don't have to pick between, because you can do both. With Mantis, you have 4 leaves, we'll call them.
Yeah, it's much more difficult with
that. If you use one, it's either heal or it's either a damage boost, right? With Adam Warlock, you have your damage, just your basic and secondary attack, but then you have your chain heal, or whatever it's actually called, and that just has a certain amount of cooldown charges that are totally separate from your damage. So
well, it's I get caught up in just DPS Moira-ing instead of
yeah, you can't do everything all at once, but you can throw down your we'll get to that when we when we get into our Warlock challenge. Great. So next week I've threw this out there. I'll let you guys say who the hero is if you want to change it. So who's going to be challenged for next week?
Oh, it's on. I mean, it's on there. It's on the doc.
Black Widow with a frowny face next to it.
All right. So
this is a safe space. If you're listening, skip ahead 30 seconds.
Who should
Is anyone?
Who put that there? Because you can tell us no one is listening right now. They skipped ahead, so no one's going to hear this part. Why are we, not feeling the Black Widow challenge?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
I just felt
this smile, the sad face. It was 100% me.
I mean, I wasn't going to call you out, but
I don't want to do that. That sounds awful. but I'm here. I'm here for the camaraderie.
There you go. So
I think she's pretty fun.
I've never played her. Never even clicked select hero before.
Well, here's your chance, and you're being forced to. So
it's been the theme for me for all of these so far. Is I'd never played Mantis before.
Right.
I never played Spider-Man before.
Yeah, like low heroes you haven't played. Push through that initial kind of learning, right, Matt? Push through it, and then you come out the other side a little bit.
My apologies to all of my Quick Play teammates in 10 games.
If you want a good Black Widow player to look at, she's actually pretty disgustingly good. Her name is Zaza Stack. She's an Australian. She's like a competitive Overwatch player, and then has come over to Rivals. Is a Widow main in Overwatch, and then took up Widow here. Makes the disgusting trick shots that you're just like, this is why I want the character banned.
Let me just hit a body shot first before I start trying to do trick shots, Matt. Let's
I'm just saying, if you want to get enthused about the possibilities of what the character can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Inspiration. Okay. So we'll check that out. We'll let you guys know next week how that goes for us. One other thing I wanted to touch on here, the giant size brain blast, which is the new mode that they released only for a limited time. It's actually closed right now. And we were speculating about this last week of what exactly it would be. It turns out it's on the convergence map? No, domination? What is it called?
I don't know. I didn't play it. I couldn't.
It's the other game mode that it's like kill confirm kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it is on that, the Tokyo 2099 map. Everybody's got the big heads, and
it's so dumb.
Yeah, you're
so funny.
So Matt, did you get a chance to play it?
I did. I easy did 10 matches. I was a dirtbag Iron Man.
Nice.
And was just trying to pick people off, and got nerves of some Hellas, some Moon Knights, some Hawkeyes, and even a Jeff. So if anybody's seen the show Atlanta, I think it's from Atlanta. Maybe it's not. I've been seeing it on I've seen the clip on Instagram and TikTok a lot, where I believe it's Sterling K. Brown is returning an air fryer, but this woman thinks that he's looting a store, and so she's in a power wheelchair, and she's like, you can't steal that, and she follows him around the town, and it kind of in the most random moment you hear that of the electric chair behind him, and it's this woman who's just coming down a deserted road in her power wheelchair chasing him, and that's how this Jeff was. Randomly following me. I'd be on the roof behind him, in a spot where nobody could see me, just because I wanted to end the match quick. And all of a sudden this Jeff would pop up and KO me. And I was like,
come on, Jeff.
You found me.
You're better than that.
With his big head too? You could, what's a big head Jeff look like?
Big head Jeff is disgusting and hilarious, and he is who I picked the emote for.
Nice.
Yeah,
so it was you play
10 matches.
10
games. Okay. So I did not get that high. But the thing with Jeff as well is his passive, I believe, takes less headshot damage too, right? So he's a character to play here, right? I thought that was a thing. Anyway, I did play a few matches. Actually, I started this was my practice range as my Mantis. So I tried to play Mantis in a mode like
Interesting.
this, and it did not go well because it's all a bunch of diving heroes or long range bombers. Strategists are not favored in this mode. So needless to say, I did not make the top 100 for the new nameplate. But there were a couple, at least, people in our Discord that were
Yeah.
showing off a little bit that they made the top 100.
In different characters, and you got a custom title
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
for the game.
Very
Giant
jealous.
planet-sized brain or something like that, and they were all character specific.
Mm-hmm.
And what one of the members did was they kind of had a look at the leaderboards and figured out, okay, what character can I play that I have the best chance of getting top 100 on if I go. So it ended up being Wolverine, and I think they said they play about 16 hours to get it. So that's a lot of this mode. They definitely got the emote for sure.
Since it was a limited event, the the charts were constantly shifting, and seeing some of the point values, there were people with like thousands and thousands of points. And so this was like the person who was checking in to make sure that they were still number one. If not, fine, I'll play 10 more games.
Yeah.
And keep racking up points. But I think point allocation was different based on character and possibly performance as well. I'm not entirely sure what the breakdown was. I wasn't in danger of ranking anywhere with Iron Man, let's be real. But yeah.
Well, you know what, Matt? If you change your mind, I think you have another chance this weekend. So it's round 2 starting now or tomorrow, and I think it's going across the weekend. So we'll see. I will try and get in and finish up my 10 games so I get my emote.
I was not aware that it was limited in terms of only on the weekend. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get some games in before the show, and it was like, oh, they cannot play it. So you got to make sure you're in there.
Do you guys know who you would pick the big head for your emote?
Not sure. I'd have to.
Some of them are like. I went with Jeff because I thought the cartoony ones looked cooler because like if you pick Cloak and Dagger, like Cloak's or Dagger's human face just blown up real big just was a little jarring.
Yeah.
A little scary.
Yeah, just like the normal human faces I feel like is a waste, but like Iron Man looked fun, stuff
I saw like the Thing just kind of looks normal. Like his head is just like more proportionate with his body.
Yeah. Huh. Well, yeah, hop into that this weekend. That's should be a lot of fun. I feel like that's a good way to do it because it especially with the leaderboards, right? It's for those people who keep checking to make sure they're number one. They only have to do that for a couple days rather than a whole week long where people can be playing hours and hours where not everybody has that time to try and make it. So it makes it a bit more fair, and then it keeps the queue times probably low too, because people are going to do that while it's a limited time, and then the rest of the week they're jumping back into comp or a quick match. So
yeah,
check that out. That's round 2's coming up. And now for the part of the show we like to call Wagwan. Guan.
Oh yeah, it's new.
This is our new segment, Wagwan. It's actually the Not So Daily Bugle News, but a lot of news, a little bit of news this week. So first, we're going to start off. There is a new patch, and Kenz and I were talking about this a little bit before the show here. This includes the character changes as well as a few other things. So the patch notes proper, the Hellfire Gala moments, that's going to start. So that hasn't launched yet, but that's part of this patch, and that starts May the 2nd, and that runs to May the 23rd. So this is kind of like your next event. So we had I don't know if that first event's still going with the 4 characters, the X-Men.
It is
missions. That's still going too. Okay, so this is on top of that. So, the Hellfire Gala moments, and with this, you have the chance to unlock the free Wolverine patch costume, and you can stand out from the crowd with this. So it's Wolverine. He's rocking his white coat and his eye patch. So he's looking
and some very polished adamantium claws.
Yeah. You see in they did put out an MVP. I'm assuming it's the MVP screen.
Yeah.
You see him looking in his claws as like a little pocket mirror. Yeah. So with this event, there's a few different levels of it.
Yeah.
You want to kind of break
Looks
that
like
down?
it'll be 3 acts. Act 1, island attractions. This is the one that's a little vague. It's like we don't fully know. We don't have like all the descriptions for this yet, so we kind of have to wait to see what the specifics are going to be. But it kind of looks like it says follow mission objectives to explore Krakoa together and unlock attractions. So either that means like just go. Matt had said earlier, maybe that means like go to location and do an emote or something. Maybe it's like complete a match on this certain map or this area of Krakoa. We don't know, but you do that, and it'll you'll be able to claim a part of it and move on to Act 2, which is where you will claim the gifts. Right, Hellfire Trading Company gifts. Clear challenge missions to collect and draw gifts from the Hellfire Trading Company, and this just kind of seems like maybe it's like do your missions, and when you're done with the missions, you get you can claim the gifts.
That dope emote with Emma Frost putting on the Cerebro helmet.
She like summons it and then puts it on. Oh, it's so cool. So that'll give you part 2, and then the third one is it looks like vote 10 times for best dressed for the Hellfire Gala, and then you'll get the third one, and you'll be able to get the costume from there. And so maybe you'll be able to. In order to vote, you'll probably have to do some missions and things like that. And so it's probably just gonna be like play 10 games and then make sure you vote after everything, and then you get the skin.
I think that part's really cool because it's reminiscent of every year with the Hellfire Gala leading up to it. Marvel would put out a vote for who the fans wanted to join the X-Men, because aside from being like a celebration, the Hellfire Gala is also where the new team of X-Men would make their public debut to Mutant Society in a big flourish. And I love things like that when the publishers turn to the fans and be like, we want to give you, a little bit of control. I know it probably sucked because you have to have books completed ahead of time and things like that so often. So a lot of sometimes you could tell that it was like, oh, this character was dropped into a hole that was left on the page because they didn't know which character was going to be. But yeah. And so that'll be. This will also be who gets a new costume at next year's Hellfire Gala.
That's what I thought. Yeah. It said something about next year, so I assume they'll do it again next year. I don't know if it'll be a whole season, but maybe it will be
Hellfire Gala 2.
Like this. Hellfire Gala moment.
Yeah, maybe it'll just be the Hellfire Gala moments.
Too fast to Hellfire.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sure.
Please, that'd be great. Yeah, so that's happening. We've got about 3 weeks. So that'll be for the next 3 weeks. That'll be going on. I bet some of these things you'll earn from doing the normal challenges. You know how sometimes we would earn our paintbrush points or our Jeff points from doing.
It'll be similar to that.
Just our normal challenges. They might give you these X coins or these tickets, and then you can go in and do some votes, and then end up with this Wolverine skin. So looks pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Also with this, there's a little bit going on here. We've got the new costumes in store. We got the Winter Soldier Thunderbolts bundle, the Black Panther the Misa Sakura bundle, and we'll kind of break those costumes down in just a second here after we get through here. So those are being released. Those are probably out now. Costume optimizations. So this one, I think they put out a video showing.
So glad this change is happening. So it's Thor's Lord of Asgard skin, which I think might be my favorite skin in the whole game that I left the show for to purchase whenever it came out. I haven't been using it because you can't see anything because his coat is too fluffy. And so
too much.
Yeah, there's too much. I don't know that they fixed the cloak specific. I don't know what the fix was, but it's in the way of the crosshairs. So whenever you use, his ranged attack, you can. It's like it's hard to aim when you're using the skin.
Yeah.
And so they fixed it.
Okay. So that was number 1. Number 2 was the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness costume. So that now boasts enhanced visual details and voice effects to more accurately capture the essence of the costume theme. So
Dr. Creepy.
Yeah, improved
Just a
visuals there.
visual changes.
Yeah. So I mean that looked great as it was. So now it's better. So get in there and pick that up to enjoy it. So some new content in here. You can now switch all costume specific sound effects back to default ones via settings. So we have a few costumes, and I don't know if it's just the legendary or the epic level costumes that have the one that it comes to mind for me is the Thor Love and Thunder skin where he makes guitar sounds while he's throwing his.
The new Spider-Man one has one too.
Spider-Man has
it's
it
like
too.
some musical notes in there when you're using your ultimate.
Yeah, so now you can do your basic ones just to not mess with your brain when you're hearing those noises. Using the latest Season 2.0 data, we recalibrated the baseline data for calculating each hero's performance scores. So performance score, I'm assuming, is the your competitive rating and how that gets put in. And I think they put out a little thing that we talked about last week on this was there was a lot of emphasis put on probably your KDA or what have you. So everybody was ending up where you're going your 0-6-0 builds in comp. So they knew they were going to lose, so they wanted to go out not without a fight. So people were switching to duelists to get as many KOs as they could to save their rating. So they've done some more adjustments there and made it a little more tasteful to try and do a strategist, so they're not getting dinged as much on the losses. And then the other thing was locked accounts can now initiate the account deletion process even from a logged out state. So maybe you made a mistake, forgot your password or something like that. Now you can get that fixed up. So yeah. Some other things here. Anything you guys want to point out?
Not
here?
really on the fixes, more on the balance
bugs.
changes, which is the next bit.
Those were the interesting ones.
Yeah, so that's kind of the main part of those patch notes. But then the other part, as you said, was some of the hero balance changes. So I looked through these a little bit quickly before the show. We had Captain America. We knew this was coming. He was getting his base health reduced a little bit.
Good.
Dirtbag Caps getting put where they deserve.
Yeah, I'm glad we did our challenge while he was on top to make that a little bit more fun for us. But
well,
some of us anyway. Next was Doctor Strange. So we're decreasing the energy cost of Agamotto from 3,400 to 3,100. So you're going to be getting your alt a little bit more often now as Doctor Strange. And I that was almost one of my suggestions for our next challenge. So maybe we'll go back to Vanguard next time.
Ooh,
we'll think about it.
I'm down.
And also Groot, his Ironwood Wall, which is his bigger defensive wall. The health on that's going down from 700 to 600. So that's going.
Do walls seem strong to you guys?
Very.
Because I feel like as soon as walls get put up, they're easily deleted.
I disagree. I think they are immortal. Unless you're playing someone like Squirrel Girl that can counter them and do a lot of burst damage at once. I have a super hard time with the walls, and I'm very and they're 100 health is a big chunk. So I think
like 3 or 4 hits, right?
I'm glad that it is. Very happy with the change.
Awesome. All right, and then we're getting to the do list. We got Spider-Man, decrease the damage range of amazing combo from 5 meter radius to 4 meter radius.
Good.
We talked about this a little bit. So this is his uppercut. It's actually an AoE attack, so that the radius of that's going down a little bit. So you have to be a bit more precise.
Have you guys watched videos on this AoE attack, or have you
Yeah.
been at, like, I could not even be facing Spider-Man and I will get KO'd
Uh-huh.
by his uppercut. Yes, I
Right.
get that it's an AoE attack, which I don't think it should be an AoE attack because it's an uppercut. An
Right.
uppercut does not, it's not an AoE strike.
It's a massive AoE though.
It's
You're going-
literally a targeted attack.
In
But you're going
the
so
Mantis
fast.
game, the Mantis game that I played before the show, I had a Spider-Man that was trying to dive me, and he was doing the uppercut and was missing. So it's it's
Wow.
working.
That's
Great.
fantastic.
That's great news. Great job, Guang Guang. Next, Winter Soldier. We adjusted the tainted voltage ability to have 2 charge levels while keeping cooldown time unchanged. So it has, I guess, 2 power levels. If you hold it enough into that second level, then you get, I don't know if it's more damage or what's going on. But it seems like this is an upgrade for him. So watch out for the Bucky, and he's getting another one here at the end too. We'll see.
Have you guys seen the memes that are like, yeah, we've noticed that Invisible Woman, she's not quite doing the amount of like healing and damage output that we like, so we're gonna buff Bucky. We better give him another Winter Soldier buff to fix that.
Speaking of Bucky, the Thunderbolts is coming out. Well, it's already out
right now. Yeah,
most places. This Thursday evening, as we record, they had Sebastian Stan record the voice lines, as part of like his press junket or whatever. Where they're on set and they're doing 50 billion interviews, and they spliced it in with the. They spliced it in with ads for
the new skin,
the new Winter Soldier costume, and there's like, what's the line? Because now I can't even think
Armed
of it.
and dangerous.
He says, "Armed and dangerous," again.
Again.
I
want that in the game. I want just
again. Yeah, that would be awesome.
They cut the check though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, he's getting paid for that for sure. Yeah, because they had also special streamers going and using this costume too as an ad for this movie. So
I don't know. I have varied feelings about that. It's like, you're not going to get me hyped by letting someone else play with the thing that I want to play with.
Yeah,
that is odd.
Give me a preview. Like, let me play with it, and then I'll get hyped over it. But let's get to the most important part.
Strategist changes.
Strategists, the lifeblood of our community here.
Widowy.
First is Adam Warlock. So he's getting a new effect on Quantum Magic. That's his primary fire. When a critical hit lands on an enemy, it reduces the cooldown time of the avatar life stream by 1 second. And that is your chain heal. So if you're hitting headshots similar to Mantis that we all learned this week, I don't think I hit any headshots, but when Ken's played Mantis and was hitting headshots, he was getting extra leaves so he could do more healing. So that's kind of coming over to Warlock because you've got your 2 charges of your healing, your healing
2 charges,
chain.
and I believe it's a 5-second cooldown. Not 100% sure on that. So,
right.
If you just hit 1 or 2, I mean, it's gonna be a pretty significant change. So the strategist that has done not a lot of healing is about to be doing some more healing.
If you're Jason Bourne, this is who you're playing.
Beware. Yeah. So that will be exciting. We'll see how that turns out in the meta. Next up is Cloak and Dagger. So my favorite TNT, Ty and Tandy. They are getting buffs to their damage on both, as Cloak and as Dagger. Cloak's continuous beam, they called the Dark Force Cloak. That's going from 75 to 80 per second. So 5 extra damage every second, which is pretty crazy. And then his dagger, the Light Force dagger, is going up from 15 to 18 damage. So just buffing their damage, helping. I think they talked about it in the dev talk, was they want to save yourself from
counter the dive,
being dove. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's coming up there. Luna Snow's up next. She's the damage fall off for her light and dark ice is being adjusted. So at 40 meters, instead of doing 60% your damage, you're getting 75% full damage there. So it gives you a bit more range. attacking as Luna, so which
That's you got to watch out because there's some snipers who play Luna. And it'll just be like, oh, I'm frozen and I don't even see a Luna on the field.
Right. Watch out. Careful. And then next up here is Mantis. A little late to the party, Guan Guan. We could have used this last week, so Matt didn't rage quit. It increases
Guan Guan,
the
you're
damage.
doing fine. I hope you know that we love you.
Increases the hit damage of Life Energy Blast, which is your primary fire, from 50 to 55.
Feels good.
Hitting those headshots, they're even better now. So
even not, it's better damage all around.
Yeah, good times. Try and hit those projectiles. So that's Mantis. And then one last thing here: the team up abilities, Stars Align, which is the Captain America Winter Soldier team up. Upon leaping to a teammate, Stellar Impact will provide 50 bonus health to allies within range. So Winter Soldier is the one with the active ability, and I had my first and only game of Winter Soldier after this was implemented, and really enjoyed it. So there is like the big team up between Captain America and Winter Soldier, where you have to like ask for permission and agree, and then they do their big high five and it actually does damage. But if you're Bucky, you can jump to any other character, and it's kind of like the thing where you go jump and give them damage mitigation. But this, you'll jump, it does damage around them, but now it's also going to provide 50 bonus health to allies within range. So even if they're grouped up with some other players, you can give a whole bunch of people a bunch of health. So that sounds awesome. I thought it was a great team up without this.
It's actually what Paul Revere was doing during the when he was riding around lighting the lanterns. He wasn't doing that. He was giving like additional health to people via like
I didn't know where that was headed.
It's the effects of freedom. It's
okay, sure.
Freedom. Awesome. So that's great. And that kind of wraps up the patch notes. So that went live yesterday. So all of that is in the game now, with the event kicking off this weekend. So looking forward to checking that out. Next, we've got those new costumes I mentioned. We'll kind of break those down for you. We've got 2 different costumes. Matt, you want to take this one?
Yeah. So let's start with Bucky. We've got a new costume inspired by Thunderbolts, Marvel Studios Thunderbolts. Is that Bucky? Chaos hits the battlefield as Bucky Barnes unravels his full potential with a new costume. Gear up and bring the house down. Team up and together, we're armed and dangerous. So it's
beautiful.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a little basic.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, not a lot of colors. You lost kind of the metal, exposed metal of his arm, right? It just
he's got that in-game arm.
Yeah, the Wakanda arm.
Yeah, the Wakanda arm on that got like the Dora Milaje just like unzipped from him in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. His face looks a little odd. I don't know if I haven't really paid attention to his face in the other costumes, but
I think it's because of the hair that it seems a bit more gaunt, because in the Revolution one, it's back in a ponytail, and the other one, it's shorter. So
he does too. I've only seen the one trailer for Thunderbolts. I've tried not to watch anything, and I do recognize this scene here that he does. So I guess that's the pretty iconic marketing scene that they keep showing over and over again, where he's like punches the bus or whatever, and it goes over the top of him.
It's so dope. But yes, this goes well with I think it's the Infinity War Cap skin, where he's missing like the star in the middle of the cap suit. It's a little bit more war torn. So we've got that one, and then we've got the new Black Panther costume. Unleash the King. Shuri, I may require your assistance to upgrade my attire. After many years, I again find myself invited to the Hellfire Gala. While I would prefer not to be so exposed, an unsettling fear of fashion faux pas weighs heavily on my mind. Ah, yes. Same, King, same. Wakanda roars louder than ever. Suit up as Black Panther in this fierce new costume and strike fear into your rivals. Black Panther Damisa Sarki costume first appears in Marvel Rivals Season 2. So this is a little bit more regal, a little bit more royal.
He's a fancy boy.
Yeah.
He is fancy.
This is I don't ever see myself wearing these types of costumes in game. Because I feel like I want something a little bit more fantastic, but this gives me vibes of like if there were a political thriller Black Panther movie and T'Challa doesn't have any of his gear, but he has to he's stranded in the US, so that's why he doesn't have anything and he has to, defeat somebody who's trying to kill the president or something. This is what he'd be wearing.
Or he's gone to a fancy party
Yeah.
and Ultron drones attack.
Or that.
Well, yeah, that works too. I love the highlight intro because he fist bumps Krakoa.
Yeah. A little vine comes out. He's like,
Yeah.
slap it on here. And this is actually what he's wearing in the comics as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep,
So
it is. I think on the splash screen too.
Yeah, jump right into that actually.
Speaking of comics.
So Rivals Infinity issue 10 was released today. And you guys have a chance to jump in. What did you think?
I read it. It's fine. It's not.
Fine.
It's probably my least favorite one of the Krakoa ones that we're getting. There's not a lot that happens. Jeff has a really cool moment with this. It's basically Jeff. They're fighting and Jeff pops his ultimate. That's the comic. There's really not anything else. And Emma Frost and Captain America are taking jabs at each other emotionally.
It's like when TV shows have to fill out a 24 episode order. And so they're like, yo, stretch it out. Yes, we can tell all of this in like 3 issues, but we need to fill 6.
Let's go to a flashback scene. Flashback episode.
Yeah.
A little mini war segment here with this though, because these comics are still tying into the in-game lore.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys caught up on the in-game lore?
Yes.
No, not yet, but I'm happy to hear about it.
So
Neil, fast forward podcast 30 seconds.
I will.
And then
So for one, the Magneto lore page is maybe my favorite one in the whole game. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And when Magneto dies, but we're on Krakoa and all the mutants get resurrected, and so he just gets resurrected at the cradle. But when he gets resurrected, he makes a new suit for himself from the metal inside of Krakoa. Whatever that looks like is
I'm so stoked to see it.
I need that costume in the game. He just sucks up the metal from the earth and makes new armor for himself.
Well, do you remember the launch trailer where Magneto swoops in on a fight in progress and he just makes the sword from the remnants of the robots? I was just like, that is dope.
My first thought when I first saw Ultron show up, I was like, Magneto's there. Ultron is meaningless because Magneto's there. So they have to figure out a way to nerf Magneto. And that was Ultron's first number one goal is kill Magneto, because he knows that that's the biggest threat to him. But the other thing I was going to bring up is that the in-game lore also, we know we're getting Ultron as a playable character. And so and we've talked on the show a lot about why are we not getting villains? We need villains. But there's the in-game lore turns to why we're getting Ultron as a playable character. What Ultron is actually going to be on our side. He's going to be a good guy. He's going to be
well
we'll see, but he's going to be fighting with on the side of heroes. But it's because Ultron does succeed in getting Cerebro and becomes reborn as Ultron Cerebro Ultron. And so Tony Stark is like, what do we do about this? And he goes and brings back OG Ultron and is like, we're going to use Ultron to fight Ultron. And that's the Ultron that we're going to get to play.
That's the really interesting thing. I love the Tony Stark entry where you read where he's just basically reasoning out with the reader.
Yeah.
He's
in his own mind.
Cerebro is no respecter of persons or like everything is data to Cerebro. And so like via the cradle, it doesn't matter if you're a mutant, if you're a human, if you're a dog, or if you are a killer robot, your data is processed and you can be reborn. It's not the same in comics, like in the House of X, Powers of X, Krakoa Age.
I had a question about that.
Yeah, it's because here they've simplified it down to Cerebro working, like Cerebro is the thing that does it. Where in the comics it is
a
bunch combination,
of mutants.
5 mutant powers called the Five, who have their powers like basically recreate a body. And then Professor Xavier has to use, or another telepath has to use Cerebro to basically upload the like burn the CD onto the body.
It takes him like a long time. Like it takes him a bit. Like it's not immediate. He has to like sit there and like send over all the information. I think
literally.
I think months for some even.
Wow. Maybe they got a Wi-Fi upgrade.
The thing I was going to mention, I'm glad that you brought that up, Matt, is like this being a more simplified version of that, because I just finished reading all those comics for the first time.
Yeah,
and that's going to be my solo episode this month.
So excited to listen to that.
But so you basically answered my question, because my question was, Professor X has like 10 backup copies of Cerebro to protect this exact thing from happening. And so I was just wondering, like, where the
what's the
copies? Why is this happening?
You got 9 more.
But it's a different thing being in the game,
and that's all after the trial of Magneto. That all kind of changes, and I've talked about that before. I think during Scarlet Witch's lore segment, how she kind of changes something to make all that happen. They basically get the cloud for all intents and purposes. Where they could just back up stuff from the cloud. But yeah.
Futures now.
Yeah, little in-game lore tangent there before our demon dump that's coming up.
I hate that.
Big old demon dump.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's a hellacious dump.
Mothers groups are going to be boycotting this podcast.
So that brings us to our next segment that we call the Cerebro Files.
You did it.
All right, Matt. We got some magic going on here. You want to take it away?
Yep. Okay, so what do you guys know? What is your first? I've started doing this, and because I really like knowing our history with a character. What is your history with magic? Do you recall your first time seeing the character, knowing who she was?
Almost none at all. The first time I ever saw her was playing Marvel Snap. So that's
wow.
Very illiterate to magic. She missed me in everything.
Lucky.
Wow. So mine was, and I revisit this week actually, like serious, like kind of know, like I must have seen splash art or something, like kind of knew there was some girl with a giant sword. But it is Marvel Midnight Suns, the video game, which I played quite a bit, and I actually jumped in. I started a new save this week, and
voiced by Laura Bailey.
Amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She is so cool, man.
I've still never played that game, but it is now on my Steam wish list. So next time
it's so cheap.
Yeah, it was not right now. But
it was free on Epic at one of these weeks, so I had it on there. So I just booted that up.
And get the DLCs because they're all worth it too. Sorry, as you were.
So she uses her sword and opens the limbo portals to basically bring you to each mission. So every time you pick a mission, they're like, "Okay, Magic, come on, we need a portal. We got to go save the Sanctum today." So
she's Lucio.
The first one that she does, the nice little cutscene there, it kind of goes into it, and she summons her demonic powers, opens up the portal, and yeah, you go to New York and take that care. So that was my probably my most notable magic experience.
Nice. Myself, didn't I knew the visuals of the character. So all the different versions of her in different armor from New Mutants, her Eldritch armor, Dark Child, and some of the different iterations of the character from the like comic encyclopedias that I had growing up.
Right.
And then it wasn't until Midnight Suns was a big part of it. But I think that's the first time I'd ever played her in any game. I've read the New Mutants run, the original run, which is fine.
But
I'm not a
I thought it was
huge New
good.
Mutants fan.
No?
It's
Or was it?
it's not bad.
Okay.
It's going back to older media is hard because once you're a
This like the
consumer,
original, not like the 2018 or whatever it was.
yes, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Well, the movie was fine. It was fine. Anya Taylor-Joy did a fantastic job with what she was given. And if they wanted to do a solo magic movie with just her all day,
oh yeah,
nice.
she'd be fantastic. So great. Let's give you the basics. Magic. Ilyana Rasputin. She is the sister of Colossus, Peter Rasputin, Russian national, a mutant, a sorceress, and the sorcerer supreme of Limbo, not of Earth, but of Limbo.
Okay.
She's Colossus's little sister.
Right.
She has been on like every X-Men team. I won't even get in like all of them. Basically her mutant power is that she creates these stepping discs. So not really portals per se, but like a tangible disc that can teleport. Or think like the teleport pad in Star Trek or whatever. They can move people between locations. And over time and through experiences that she has, basically her connection to Limbo overtakes this ability. And so it becomes kind of the middleman or the middle point between locations. So to go from, like in Midnight Suns, to go from your base to New York, you travel through Limbo.
Right.
And you do this cool cutscene where you're walking like, the road through Limbo and you're watching Hellfire around you and everything. And it's pretty cool.
Crazy.
Yes, it's very hell adjacent. It is not hell. But because what is hell?
Marvel has its own hell, right? It's a whole different thing.
Yes.
In Marvel.
And kind of like how like Mephisto is not Satan.
Right.
There's like a specific Satan and like there's we'll cover that. No, we don't have a podcast for that. We're just kidding. I'm not even
cover that in our Hell podcast.
Well, also these discs can sometimes travel through time.
Right.
If you get confused by time travel, Magik's history is not for you. You just pick up in the present with her and just be like, big sword, love.
Yeah. That's all I need.
She manifests the soul sword, which is made from her soul, and which grows more powerful the more she uses it. And since she is the sorcerer supreme of Limbo, different spells, abilities, things like that, usually kind of like a Deus Ex Machina, where it's kind of like, oh no, remember Magik is a magic user. Like, she can do the thing.
Right.
So that's kind of how that's used. Let me take a breath before I get into her backstory, and I'll keep it brief this week because I know some of these segments have run super long. I know people like them, but we don't need to be here for 8 hours. So Ilyana debuts as literally like a 5-6-year-old little girl who was kidnapped by the villain Arcade.
Okay.
And he's that redheaded villain who sets up like death mazes and things like that. So he's kidnapped basically like loved ones of the X-Men, like a giant pinball machine of death. And they save her. She hangs out with the X-Men for a while in New York. But then another villain, Belasco, kidnaps loved ones of the X-Men again and takes them to Limbo. And the X-Men captures her and the X-Men, takes them to Limbo. X-Men fight off a bunch of demons and they get out of Limbo. But when they emerge, Magik is like 7-8 years older. So she's like 13 now.
Even though it's like instantaneous from our point of view?
Yeah. So what happened was time moves different in Limbo. And while the X-Men were there for only a brief moment, Ileana was there for years. She was raised for years by this evil sorcerer Belasco, who had captured her, or basically like her potential to use magic, so that he could create these things called bloodstones, so that he could revive the quote unquote old gods. And during this time, she meets alternate versions of like Storm and Kitty Pryde from other Earths. This is where we're getting Earth like 2842, things like that. Okay. Now we're getting into that whole thing. And they've kind of fallen from grace, been influenced by like the demonic essence of Limbo here. Kitty Pryde goes by Cat, and she's like become like anthropomorphized like into a cat almost. She trains Ileana in combat. She learns how to manifest her soul sword. And long story short, becomes ruler of Limbo to a certain point. Right? Yeah. I feel like I'm kind of like simplifying this too much, but if I went into it anymore, like we'd be here forever. She kind of like escapes forward and backward in time a little bit, to the point where she sees that she has to kill both Shadowcat and Storm, the ones here in Limbo, because she has to prevent, Belasco from, gaining too much power. Once she escapes, she kind of joins the New Mutants. She's, someone on Reddit said, "What do you do with the ruler of Marvel Hell? Put her on a, X-Men team with teenagers." It was like, as you do. So she's here with them. This is where she manifests her Eldritch armor, basically like the airbags, it's this protection system that just manifests. The more and more she uses her power, she becomes more like buffed, literally. Cool. She is at one point taken by the Beyonder, and he unlocks this other ability in her, which awakens Dark Child, where she goes full on demon. And think of it as like Ileana goes Hulk.
Yeah.
That's when she turns into Dark Child. And Dark Child, when she gives into like the rage and the hatred and things like that, that's when Dark Child becomes stronger and harder to control. And that's those feelings, and that power was originally sparked in her conflicts with Belasco. Him forcing her to do all these things to develop these bloodstones. So yeah, at one point she also is a totem for the Phoenix Force and holds that power during Avengers vs. X-Men. Whoa. Video games have done a great job with that. If you play Marvel Future Fight at all, she has a fantastic skin in that game, Phoenix Magik. And
I got to
shout out to them. 10 years this month of Marvel Future Fight, fantastic game. Danny Koo brought us a lot of these original characters that are in Rivals from. But she has gone on to become a teacher and like a staple around the X-Men because she's very much how she's played in Rivals. She's kind of like the early warning system because of her magical abilities. She has great being able to like transport herself here and there. She can do reconnaissance, things like that. She's a great leader. She's a great, just attacker. She fiercely loves the X-Men and everything that the original essence of the X-Men stood for. But yeah, she was basically like a trainer and a teacher on Krakoa, raising the new society there.
Cool.
And yeah, in modern comics, she's just bebopping around on different X-Men teams as well. Some specific issues we can get into because this unveils a little bit more about some of her character arcs. So her first appearance was in Giant Size X-Men #1, that big issue, the iconic cover with, basically like X-Men season 2, if you will, that introduced Wolverine and Colossus and Storm and all that. She's just like little blonde girl, in the background. And we didn't know her name until 6 years later.
Wow.
In Uncanny X-Men 145 in 1981. And she remained basically a background character for about 10 years. It wasn't until Uncanny X-Men 160, that's where she's taken into limbo, ages 7 years, becomes a sorceress, and her mutant ability to create these teleportation discs is manifested. Then at the end of Uncanny X-Men, she joins the New Mutants. She isn't officially on the roster until issue 14 of that run, but she's basically like the featured player on SNL. She's there, she's present, but she's not on the team. But it's a good run, and it's an iconic run, really. So you won't be mad about it. She has died multiple times. There's one arc of the comics where they have another brother.
Oh
gosh, and I'm blanking on his name now. The oldest Rasputin brother, who was a cosmonaut and seemingly died while on a mission. But he is a mutant as well, and his power manifested, and he basically pulls her consciousness into the future to tell her about some things that the world needs to avoid. He infects her with the legacy virus, hoping that it will build up an immunity to it, because while Magik is gone, Magik dies. But when Magik comes back, it's as if Magik has to be like relinked to Magik's soul because her soul is gone because she died. And there's no good way to explain this.
Like through a portal, you mean, when she's gone? Or like because she got pulled to the future?
Yes and no. This is where we get into like alternate versions of so the different Earths, like Earth 616, main Marvel timeline. When she is pulled into the future, another Magik is like pulled into quote unquote our universe.
Oh, okay. Gets replaced.
And that their Magik ends up dying of the legacy virus. She's actually the first in the X-Men comics to do that. She's patient zero, basically.
So what is the legacy virus? Not
that
to
is
get too into it, but I haven't heard of it.
It is. I need to. I'm going to Google this real quick, only because I want to make sure that I.
And while you do that, so her other brother's name is Mikhail.
Yes. Yes.
And I just want to talk a little bit about. I hopped into the latest Magic solo series. They have one issue that's released on Marvel Unlimited. So I read that this week.
Disgusting art.
Fantastic.
I'm reading that tonight.
I need more of it. I don't know if how many issues are out, but I'm going to go out
Look
to
it up right now.
Comic Book Day and see if I can get any of the other ones because I really want to read this. It's very gripping. Start of the story. Magik. It kind of ties into the Midnight Suns too. It's her birthday, so they're trying to put on a party for her, and she's like, "Oh, there's mutants missing. I gotta go check that out. Bye." And then she goes, and it's a lot of issues between mutants and non-mutants, and then there is somebody who's trying to break a seal, and somebody whose whole life was to protect these seals, and there's a whole bunch of seals. Stopping bad stuff from happening, and
not the animal.
Yeah,
this is. I'm just looking at it on my phone. Like this panel,
it's crazy, man.
Like this, man.
So good.
Yeah, I'm
really excited.
so much.
I'm really excited for that. Check that out.
So Legacy Virus, I was grouping together the Legacy Virus with the Techno-Organic Virus, which are two distinct different things, and I'm glad that I googled that just to make sure. Because I would have been wrong. Legacy Virus has to do with Cable and Mr. Sinister and the Summers family. Basically, Mr. Sinister, his big thing is that he wants to kind of create the perfect mutants. He wants like the Summers family DNA because there's something about the Summers. And he makes this deal with Strife, who, spoiler alert, is an evil clone of Cable. Promises him this all of this genetic information, but when it's opened, it turns out to be this virus that affects mutants, and Ileana is killed by it. That prompts Colossus to leave the X-Men. He joins Magneto's team, the Acolytes. After that, later returns. Beast develops a cure for it, but it has to be processed through mutant DNA, meaning that a mutant has to like metabolize it, take it, and it will ultimately kill them, but it will produce like the pure antidote that they need. And so Colossus does that. And that was a huge moment in the comics. Like really cool panel that's like Colossus at the forefront of it, like with a syringe, like holding it to his arm, and you're like, oh, he's made of metal. How can he can control that? And then like all the X-Men like running behind him, like trying to get him to stop. And I'm just like, no, he lost his little sister. She like, God. I love Colossus. He's one of my favorite guys.
Sweet.
So yeah, that is Legacy Virus. She dies from it, but it's comics. She comes back. But after another time she died, while she's dead, like the moniker of Magik passes on. And it's kind of like how, like when a Green Lantern dies, their ring goes in search of someone else to fill their role as Green Lantern. Right. Her Magik soul sword was kind of like passed around to different people. Now that I think about it, kind of like a backup copy too, because if it's made of like, this is the external hard drive with Magik's, blueprint on it, if you think about it, because it's parts of her soul. And when they eventually bring her back, it's given back to her. But like Nightcrawler has it at one point. Amanda Sefton from the Excalibur team holds it at one point. She takes the name Magik in homage to Ileana. So if you look through comics, there are a few different Magik titles. Not all of them are Ileana Rasputin. Some of them are different people. Great. So Ileana's brought back to life at one of these times, and has to go on basically a quest to recover pieces of her soul. And this is the Ex Infernus limited series. And so this is CB Cebulski. And I think it has a new collection as well. since some of these are older comics, 70s and 80s, Marvel's doing a great job now at collecting like disparate issues from different series and putting them in like, here's one big book of Magic if you want it.
Nice.
Avengers versus X-Men, fantastic series. She also makes some really cool cameos in Strange Academy. So think, think like My Hero Academia, but Marvel, where it's all the like kids of magic users who are brought together and tutored by Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch and Magic, and you have like the son of Dormammu and like all of these. It's like, oh wow, I wasn't aware that this character might have had offspring, but it's a pretty cool book. And then she was in an arc of Savage Avengers as well. There's a really cool one shot from 2018. What if Magic had become the Sorcerer Supreme? And so basically the what if here is when, after she emerges from limbo that first time as the 13-year-old, instead of staying with the X-Men and becoming entrenched in that world, she wanted nothing to do with them because they did this to her. So she ran away and found Doctor Strange and got tutored by him and became like the Sorcerer Supreme of Earth 616.
So this was after she was Sorcerer Supreme of Limbo. So she had a good resume.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a divergent time. Yeah. And then a couple different versions of the character appears in the Exiles title. Have you guys ever heard of that or read that?
No. Heard of it.
So Exiles is this book where basically it's variants of characters. And it's think like an adventuring party from like RPGs.
Yep.
But every couple issues, one or two die off and they pull in another one. And so it's this constantly rotating cast of characters that are either brand new or just alternate takes on characters. That's where Blink, the pink mutant, became really well known. That was one of a big book with her in it. Nocturne, the daughter of Nightcrawler, became big in that book. A lot of different characters as well. But yeah, a couple different iterations of Magic in that book. And cool. That is all I got.
Awesome.
But there, like you can, there are so many comics in Marvel Unlimited, and you could Google there. I was gonna watch some videos on the history of Magic, and some of them were like hours long, and I was like, bid I not.
This one that Neil mentioned, though, that came out in January, which is 4 months ago, and so Marvel Unlimited is 3 months behind, and so each month you'll get a new update on that one, so you can read current with that, starting with issue 1 right now.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, that's good too, and it was like a good intro too. Obviously, I knew a little bit about Magic from the game and from Midnight Suns, but yeah, you didn't need a little bit of the mutant conflict.
Number ones are very user friendly. Yeah. If you ever get intimidated about starting somewhere in comics, just pick up a number 1. It's very handholdy.
Yeah,
like in a respectful way. They don't treat you like an idiot, but
yeah. Well, that's what they want, right? Like you want to bring on new people all the time to grow the thing. So
check with your shop if you go to Free Comic Book Day. They might have a sale on it.
Check it out. And Ken, do you need to play Midnight Suns?
I will. I've been small tangent. I've been playing a lot of the Clair Obscure Expedition 33 this week, which is a turn-based game, and it's going to be my game of the year. And that has made me want to do some more turn-based stuff. And I thought of Midnight Suns, and I went and immediately added it to my wish list. So
it's so good.
That's so good.
How much is it?
I think it's like 50 right now. It's not on sale.
Just wait, because it will go down, and it does go into a little bit of the limbo stuff there too. Like there is like a magic arc, I guess.
60. Dang. Yeah. No sale. But it will.
And she's a great character because it's all about movement and positioning too on the battlefield when you play. So she uses her portals, and you can like knock people through portals and knock them into your allies to do extra damage, knock them into uh, electrical systems.
Gosh,
and
I gotta go
stun
back and play
them,
this game
and
again.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
I'm
Her
starting to play it.
action economy is goated.
Yeah. So you're just playing cards all day. Do
Mhm.
everything in your turn, and then the enemies go, and they've got nobody left. So you win. So awesome. Well, thanks, Matt. That was great. That got me all hyped up for Magic.
Yeah,
so,
me too.
I'm sure some of the listeners feel the same way. All right. So that is our lore segment for this week. And next week we did have a request. They were looking for some Iron Fist lore, specifically
Ooh,
Lin
yeah.
Lee, which I guess there's multiple Iron Fists. So we'll
Yeah,
talk
I don't
about
know anything
this-
about Lin Lee.
This isn't Danny Rand. This
Yeah,
is
I know
Lin
Danny
Lee.
Rand.
Ooh, this is gonna be good. I love Lin Lee.
All right.
Good.
Looking forward to that for next week's segment there. All right. Now we'll go into the part of the show that we call the what ifs, where we get you guys involved.
There's supposed to be a drop there.
Yeah. I don't know if we're actually doing those or not, but I guess we'll find out. So this is the what ifs. If you guys want to have your question read on the show and discussed by us, you can send those to our email or drop them as
Pod at
comments.
rivalsassemble.com.
Thank you. Or drop them as comments in the Spotify or in our Discord. We get quite a bit through there. So this week we've got a few things to cover here. First up, Uncharted Tie has a question for the pod. Thoughts on having Black Knight brought into the game as a Vanguard, of course, and then with the Ebony Blade being able to block revives, whether as a passive or a specific ability. So, as someone who does not know who Black Knight or Ebony Blade, or maybe is that his weapon?
Yeah.
Can someone explain this? Matt?
Yeah. So okay, I'll jump on it.
I only know him as Kit Harington from Eternals, so that's all I got.
Kinda Black Knight there. So basically, whoever wields, that's semantics, I guess. The Ebony Blade is used by Black Knight. Ebony Blade was originally created as like a foil or a partner to Excalibur.
Okay.
But it was enchanted to basically, it can cut through anything. Whoever wields it cannot die, but it can also deflect any type of magic. So
that's sick.
I could see them, tweaking that for the game. Maybe that would be the shield. And so it create like you hold it up and it like casts a field that could interrupt abilities or something like that.
Well, so it's like, I think maybe what they're referring to, because at first I thought it was like, oh, maybe that just like blocks Adam Warlock to do some stuff, but then it's like, well, no, what if it's like you cannot spawn for like it delays. It would so think about like Adam Warlock's ultimate is kind of like a it's like there's a circumference to it, like it's only like in a certain area, a surface area that you can be revived. And so maybe make it a bit smaller, and it's like only within this area you cannot spawn until this goes away, and it really kind of holds it off. That'd be wild.
Fun fact, it also drives like the user, it makes them more violent, bloodthirsty, the more they use it. So
I'm here for it. Please.
Oh boy.
that'd
Sounds like
be
a
a
frost
dope ult.
Yeah, would love that character.
Cool. All right. Yeah, that sounds great. Bring it on. Next one we got here is from Hassel. What team ups from the MCU would you like to see in Rivals? I'd love to see the Thor hammer cap shield deflect, or the Thor charging up Iron Man. And these are from the movies.
Both of those two were the first two that I thought of.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, if there's one that's like I can't think of a specific moment, but it would be really cool to have like an Iron Man, Spider-Man team up in some way.
Like a mentor mentee.
I don't know what
Under
that would be.
ruse.
Yeah, something like that. So
Give him extra
just
tech.
with both of those. Yeah.
So this Thor hammer cap shield deflect, is that when Thor hits the shield with his hammer and then it makes
Yeah,
like
that's
a
Like a sound wave.
sound wave? Yeah, like a sound
or
blast.
an in-game where Cap like basically bats the shield with like Mjolnir. Like he throws it and then swings Mjolnir to like bat it away again, and it's kind of like pinball.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Sweet.
You could well, I guess it'd be very it's I keep thinking of like Overwatch, sorry, Sumi. It's like, oh, give like a Black Widow a nano to
right.
you know, hop
Yeah.
somebody up.
Power up. Yeah.
Make her Ana. But like, can you think of a more OP character than like a Widowmaker like on a crossover? Like that's
That'd
disgusting.
be awful. No, thank you.
She just shoots herself. Like
I'm having a hard time of thinking of like moments in the MCU, like team up moments of like this character and this character did this thing, and you know something cool happened. I think like if there's like a Thor and Hulk thing they could do, or you know, like a Hawkeye and Black Widow would be cool.
I think like the perfect example really is the Human Torch Storm Firestorm.
Yeah,
combo.
yeah.
Like that's, and I don't know how you do better than that.
Who helped Thor build his new weapon?
Peter Dinklage.
Oh, was it? Okay. I don't know if it was Rocket or not. Like a Rocket.
Yeah,
Thor
Rocket and
team
Groot.
up? Yeah.
Because remember, Groot
give him
gave up his arm.
Groot gave him for the hilt.
Right. So maybe that would be a team up, and then you get the Thor's empowered.
And they introduce
right?
a mythic weapon, and you can buy Stormbreaker for $9.99.
Blue Nits.
Don't do that to me.
I'm rage baiting Kens. That's all that I'm.
No, thank you. Never. Don't listen to Matt. Cut that out.
Guan is writing furiously.
Yeah. Yep. Send it to pod@rivalsend.com. Guan. Awesome. Next one, we have Brianna on Spotify. Do you think you guys will be at more conventions going forward, like maybe New York Comic Con or San Diego Comic Con?
Oh my gosh,
I'd love to.
That'd be dope. I don't think on this short of notice this year anything like that.
Well, I did look at the dates for these, and San Diego Comic Con is the same exact weekend as GCX, so that one's definitely not happening.
So we will not be there.
Yeah, and New York Comic Con is in October. But yeah, this year probably not those big ones. But that'd be, I mean, in the future, I would like to say that's a good goal, is to get to one of those really big conventions.
Yeah.
You know, I
guess it all depends on the experiences we have.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. I'm really excited to hopefully meet up with some listeners, and looking forward to it. So great ideas. Love it. Keep them coming. Next, Fort Monkey. What is your favorite skin in game, and what characters do you want next season? So this is a pretty open question. Like, so we'll start with the first part. What is your favorite skin / costume in game? Matt, we'll start with you.
I'm gonna cheat.
Allow.
And it's
Mark's
basically
not here to reel it in, so
it's there are no rules. Like on the Pizza Hut commercial, or not? It's Little Caesars where he takes his shirt off. They all know. Put your shirt back on. He's like, there is one rule. It is the season 0 Wakanda skin. So galactic talon, galactic wings, galactic whatever it is.
The ones that are gone now.
All the armored ones.
Yeah,
except for Mantis.
I sound like a broken record. Yeah, that was the battle pass skin.
Right. The other ones you had to pay for separately.
Yes, but they were cheap.
I got a Black Panther one.
Yeah.
That was
Black Panther was he was the first on the battle pass. It was Hawkeye and Captain America that were separate purchases.
Oh yeah, those were really cool. That was kind of like a futuristic armor.
I'm still mad about that, man. Those are the only skins that they've taken away so far, aside from holiday ones. The holiday ones are, but I can understand that because you would assume that they would come back. But I don't like it when they throw in something cool like that and then take it away for like no reason.
I guess outside of that, because I've said that so many times, I love the Goddess of Thunder, the Storm Thor skin.
Mm-hmm.
I just
we do love a good Thor skin. Mine is also.
I was just gonna say I love a good Storm costume, but you know what? It's fine.
No, mine is also a Thor skin. It's the Ward of Asgard that we mentioned earlier, the one with the big fluffy coat that just got nerfed. So yeah,
well, it's fixed.
Very loving it.
That's awesome. My favorite in-game skin, I will have to say,
Dreamthickle.
Dreamthickle is good.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. I'm gonna
your
go
mini mains. It's tough to.
Yeah, my mini mains. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of someone that I don't play that I wish I played to get those. There were some pretty good ones.
You rocked that Captain America one. That was the
Gladiator.
The caveman cap or
you
whatever.
Also,
it was.
like we're a Hulk main for a bit, specifically because of the punk rock Hulk skin.
I do like that. Yeah. I like the Santa Groot. That one's gone now too, but I like when Matt plays with that one. Did not have enough blue knits to buy that before it went away, so I'll try and save some for next holiday season. Hopefully they bring that back. But that'll be my
that's the Rocket skin I use too.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Or his revive is like a Christmas gift.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so what characters do you want next season?
I missed the next season part.
So let's say like season 3, because we know that we're getting
2.5.
That's still season 2 will be Ultron.
Yeah. I want Cyclops.
Yeah,
that was my answer.
You think they'll stick with X-Men though? I feel like they're gonna hop to a different chronoverse. Maybe they'll go to the ones where gods die, right? And maybe they'll give us Null,
Gore the God Butcher.
And then we get Valkyrie. So that's my answer, or Jane Foster Valkyrie.
Okay,
that'd be dope. What role does she play?
She could be any. I could see her in all 3. Honestly,
I think she'd be like an OP, like strategist, like duelist.
Yeah, like high damage strategist would be awesome.
Anti-dive.
Because the weapon can change to whatever it can change to whatever she wants to be. So
we've answered this question so many times. I'm trying to come up with something more.
That's usually always my answer too, is Valkyrie. So I need a different one.
I've said Captain America Sharon Rogers before, from Marvel Future Fight, created by Danny Koo. I've said some of his other characters.
It would be cool to get an original Marvel Rivals character. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
We reference Heroes of the Storm a lot, and they pulled from all the Blizzard games, and once they kind of filled up on that, they started making original characters for that game.
What if they gave us what's her face from Tokyo 2099?
Spider Zero.
Yes. You know,
Spider Zero.
Yes, Spider Zero.
Yeah.
Give us like a future version of her.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Or Danielle Cage from 2099, who is Captain America. She's the daughter of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, and her tagline is I am the shield, because of like her powers. She's just, virtually indestructible.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Give
us
more Vanguards. We don't need any more duelists. So More Vanguards, more. I'm convinced. I said this one before. We'll go back to Black Panther, and give me Shuri as
We got to
as
get her.
right? Because they were mentioning like it's going to be something that they've mentioned in some of the in-game lore already. They're gonna pick up those threads again. So
And she gets a power set in the comics, which is very different from Black Panther.
So it'd be her
Which-
as Black Panther, or it'd be her as like support Black Panther's sister.
No, like I think she'd be Shuri.
Yeah.
But she would just be in her own right, like basically I won't go too much into it, but like she can become like a murder of crows or ravens or whatever, and like has these powers linked to like the old gods of Wakanda and stuff like that.
Yes.
So yeah.
What do you guys think about the last one? I'll say, I know we've gotten this question before of kind of like what other, like, it was like the Cho'Gall question, right? Of kind of like what character would pilot to, and we have Cloak and Dagger. What about like Ant-Man and Wasp as one character, because they do similar things, but also are, you could maybe have Ant-Man be a bit of a bruiser and get a bit bigger, and Wasp could fly, and I don't know, just kind of like they're different move sets but tied into one.
Like maybe
I'd entertain it.
One could be each form at a time. So you have one is giant and one would have to be small.
Yeah.
And then you would swap. Then the ultimate would be like
Wasp is the flyer.
They've just got to do more. They've got to do more like that.
You got to do the thing where they throw the discs and make the toy truck blow up. You know?
Yeah.
What is that a finisher in? Is that a finisher in? It might be Future Fight.
Okay.
But yeah. Always a good question.
It is. We get it all the time. It's good to revisit the question because the answers are sometimes they're different. Sometimes we come up with different stuff. So
yeah, that's great.
Or Baymax.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, thanks for that question. On to the next one. L Ravager saying, future heroes and villains. Do you think we'll ever see Omega Red?
That'd be so sick.
So Omega Red, is this something to do with Wolverine, right? We talked about him in Wolverine.
Kind of, and Russia.
Okay.
Basically the Weapon X program.
Russia, it's Canadian. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That sounds great.
But like, yeah, that season, give me like Omega Red, Silver Samurai, Lady Deathstrike. That would be dope.
Yeah.
Bring them all. Yeah, it sounds great. Like with X-Men, I feel like we can still go so deep into it.
Yeah. I don't want Deadpool. I'm not on the Deadpool train.
Well, you're gonna get Deadpool at some point. It's gonna happen.
And we're gonna get the Deadpool event, and we're gonna get like the Jeff Pool skin, and we're gonna get like because they're linked together. We're probably gonna get Gwenpool at some point. Spider Gwen or Ghost Spider.
I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Awesome.
Miles Morales.
And then last thing here, it's Rucifer says Stan lead as payload. So last episode we were talking about what should the different payloads be? We have
okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I was like, where's the question here?
It's a statement. Yeah.
Yeah, Clintar was the symbiote that you're pushing, and we were saying, what else could you have as different payloads? So
and he's just in like the Pope Mobile.
Your payloads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some Chronoverse out there where he just really, really, really needs to get somewhere and needs help from all of the heroes that he's created.
Get Stan Lee to the set of the next.
Get him to his breakfast that he has to get to. It's really important.
You make him giant or something too, right? Like
he's the Watcher.
There you go. Awesome. Well, that's great. And I think that's gonna wrap up our show. I feel like we did an okay job here, eh? Hey,
yeah,
guys?
it's a reasonable amount of time.
Three is a magic number for a reason.
There we go.
Mark who?
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. And just everybody, I will let you know if you want to get in touch with us outside of the show. Give us some feedback. Leave us some comments on Spotify or on iTunes. You can check us out. We're on X at Rivals Assemble, Twitch or YouTube, Rivals Assemble Pod. We have an email, pod@rivalsassemble.com. We've got a Discord link, and the best way to find all of that stuff is on our website, rivalsassemble.com. So you go to there, you can get your Discord link, you can check out all that other stuff. And along with that is a link to our Patreon. So as I said, we've got that going. We've got these solo shows coming out. We've got our retro game coming out, a whole bunch of stuff. If you want to help support the show and help us maybe go to San Diego Comic-Con one day, you can pay $5, become a true believer, and that will give you all of that extra episodes. We do posts out on the Patreon app. You can give us some separate comments there and check out what we've got going on. All right. So I think that's going to do it. What do you guys think? Any last words?
Real quick, so I'm going to be at MomoCon at the end of May. It is May now, running an original role-playing game adventure for the Marvel Multiverse system centered around Marvel Rivals, Infection Point Wakanda. You can ask us for more details if you want. I might be giving some sneak peeks on the show in the future, possibly. We'll see. But advanced signups for that are starting soon. So if you're going to be in Atlanta at the end of May, specifically the 22nd through the 25th, you can go to MomoCon, MOMOCon.com, and look at the schedule of events there. And I believe either Sunday or Monday, the 4th or the 5th of May, you can pre-register to play in the role-playing games. And so there's going to be D&D, Adventurers League, Pathfinder, and then some other different games. I'll be doing that and running some beginner tables for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. So if you're interested, go there or hit us up for more details and we can connect you.
That's awesome. So when you brought up that before, I thought you would have to sign up when you got there, but they are doing advanced signups now.
Yeah, they did send out that news this week. And I'm doing 6-player tables. That is it, because anymore, and that's a lot. 6 people is a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a lot to wrangle.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting, Matt. I hope we get a little sneak peek of what you got cooking there. That's exciting. Kenz, what about you? Anything?
Oh, what? Nope. It's been good.
Enjoying the playoffs.
Nothing exciting. Yeah. Watching hockey.
Hope your team
and Thunderbolts
makes it
tomorrow.
So
Thunderbolts
tomorrow.
Thunderbolts tomorrow. I'm going to see that. Very excited. We will get Patreon episode for that in a couple weeks. So
going to the gym before so I can have popcorn there. You don't have to make that decision. That is just my justification.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, guys. And thanks to all the listeners. Thanks for checking out, tuning in the show. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you all next week.
Peace.